In today's video, I'm going to be playing a full grand challenge going all the way from 0 to 12 wins using Mega Knight wall breakers. So let's get right into it. There's actually 2 people in the top 10 on ladder who are using this exact deck, so that's how you know it is very good. It has the evolved bats in the deck, but remember, even if you don't have them unlocked, you can still use them inside of grand challenges. So we're going to go for the Little Prince here in the back. And then with this deck, you want to be fairly aggressive in single elixir, and the main reason why is because this is a fairly cheap Mega Knight deck, right? You have a lot of cheap cards in it, like the Bats, the Bandit, and even stuff like the Zap and the Bar Barrel, very cheap spells, which means you can apply a lot of pressure very early on, which is often what you need to do anyway, especially when you're against beatdown decks. And as you guys can see, we have an outstanding start here because what happened was he overcommitted with that Hog like crazy. He went Hog when I already played my Bandit, and then he went for a Fireball, just going way too aggressive. Speaking of the Fireball, he used that again, but a little too late. Honestly, we could probably go for the 3 crown this match because it's already just going so well. And he does stop those wall breakers, so well played on his end there. With those skellies, he gets them down just in the nick of time, and he is going to go for the Hog Rider, so we're going to go for the Mega Knight right on top, boom, and yeah, we might as well go for the 3 crown, because at this point, you know, we've dealt more damage to it than the Arena Tower, and because he was struggling to defend early on, that's probably giving me a little bit more confidence as well that we probably will be able to get the 3 crowns, so I don't know if he's going to, yeah, he is going to go for the Valkyrie, and the bats as well. I honestly could have zapped those, but what I'm going to do instead is probably just cycle my Little Prince. Ooh, he's got a Mortar. Okay, that is very interesting. Sometimes you do see Hog Mortar, but honestly with the deck he was running, I was not really expecting that, so a bit surprising to see. Nonetheless, though, Bandit is going to connect, and we're going to go in here. We might as well try to get some pressure going. He is going to go for the Skellies. One of the wall breakers does end up connecting, and it's looking more and more like we probably could get this 3 crown if we do things correctly here. So we're going to go for the Bandit here, and then we're going to go for Bats, and then we're going to get a Miner going. Are they going to survive? No, they do not survive that heal, or excuse me, the Fire Spirit. It's a bit unfortunate. I guess we can just go for a Little Prince here. And this will, yeah, have some defense set up here ready to go. So when he goes in for the Hog, we'll be ready for that. He's going to go for the Fireball. Ooh, he does end up missing that Little Prince. That might be the nail in the coffin for him. I mean, it pretty much was already over, if we're being honest here. But now at this point, it's pretty much like 100% over. So we're just going to go for the Miner. And sure enough, he's going to give up. So that's going to be, no, he didn't give up, but I don't know. He played that late. Anyway, nice and easy 3 crown game 1. We still have 11 more to go, though, so let's keep on going here. We're against Andre 25. So what our starting hand's looking like. We do have Bats in our starting hand, which is a pretty decent starting play, especially because you can get to those evolved Bats quicker. Now, let's say you want to run this. I forgot if I said this. If you want to run this deck on ladder, and if you don't have the evolved Bats, my recommendation would probably be the minions instead of the Bats. I forgot if I said that game 1. If I didn't, or if I did, then I guess I'll repeat myself. It's fine, because I think that's very important for you guys to know. I would recommend using minions, and you could still probably make this deck work. So that would be kind of the free-to-play variant. Now, the Little Prince, everyone has that. They gave that for free, but maybe not everyone has that leveled up. I don't know, but Little Prince is a hard one to replace. I would even recommend, if you have it a bit under-leveled, you could probably still play it, because it's pretty OP right now. So we get a nice and easy King activation there. I guess I'll just go ahead and use the Little Prince ability. That's actually going to end up working out perfectly. Oh, never mind. I thought it was going to help the Little Prince stay alive, the Guardian coming in there, but unfortunately Bar Barrel did end up taking it out. Regardless, though, the Guardian is going to get a lot of damage on top of the tower over there, so kind of a nice start, which is exactly what you want in single elixir. You want a start, ideally, where you have the lead going into double. I think that that's pretty important, and in most matchups, you know, like, you're typically going to be able to do that if you do things correctly, and in some it's just a requirement. Like, if you're against E-Giant, stuff like that, Golem, Lava, and if you don't get a good start in single, you're in just for a lot of trouble. So he went a bit aggressive there with that Monk, so I think we can send in the Wall Breakers behind the Mega Knight here, and he's going to go, okay, for the let's just go for the bats here, and then we'll go for the miner as well. And then I'll also go bandit, just because he spent a lot going in for that cannon, and it forces a fireball out of him. That is really, really good stuff over there. Oftentimes when they don't have a good small spell, if they're running something like fireball and they don't have zap in their deck or something like that, the bats are just so obnoxious for them to deal with. Arrows are, of course, going to be very good against the bats as well, because when they're evolved, even when they're healed up, you can just go for the arrows and take them out. But I still think the evolved bats are actually quite decent after the buff they ended up getting, where they attack just a little bit quicker. I believe that's what their buff was, so they're more likely to get healed up, if that makes sense. Now, we actually got to be a little cautious here, because I kind of... That was honestly, you could argue, not a good Mega Knight, because I did kind of just play that right into 2 Inferno Drags, but it ends up being completely fine, because as you can see, we ended up, defending completely fine. I was a little worried, but we're cool here. The Ram Rider deals a little bit of damage. Miner chipping away, though, and that's going to be game number 2. Relatively easy, kind of a strange deck on his end. Not really sure what that was, but GG regardless. Alrighty, so we're against P.E.K.K.A here. I don't know if he's actually using the P.E.K.K.A. I guess only one way to find out. That's the thing. When people have their name like that, it oftentimes ends up being a little bit misleading, because you just, I don't know, you just assume, you can't help but assume they're running the card that their name says, and then it's like when you expect it, sure enough, that's not what they're using, which is clearly the case here. So because he just went for the NATO and his Baby Dragons out of cycle, we're going to be very aggressive right here. I'm going to zap that Little Prince, and just like that, incredible start. With this deck, recognizing cycle and what your opponent has in rotation is just very, very important. Because I knew his Tornado and Baby Dragon was out of cycle, I knew he was going to have an incredibly hard time dealing with the bats. And sure enough, it was even a more difficult time than I anticipated. Unfortunately, he did get down that Guardian just in time, but you know what? That actually didn't do a single thing for him. I was thinking that was going to allow him to have a great tank for the graveyard, and I was going to have to overcommit with a Barb Barrel, but it turns out I didn't even have to do anything. So, wow. Actually, really bad ability. I kind of take back what I said, because, yeah, tower down. So, I hope you guys are, noticing the pattern here, how pretty much so far every single game I have been winning in single elixir, and that is kind of the beauty of this deck. And I actually think that's why a lot of mid-ladder players really hate Mega Knight. I think a lot of times when they lose to it really early on from just the first Mega Knight, and oftentimes that's because if you're not careful against Mega Knight and you're overcommitting when you're not supposed to, it is so easy in single elixir for the Mega Knight player to punish you, whereas just in double, it's a bit easier to defend it. So Tombstone kind of went to waste there. We're just going to go for the Mega Knight, and he's going to go for his Little Prince. We could probably go for a Miner on top of it, actually, and then we could just go for our Evo Bats here and try to, we might as well go for the 2 crowns since we already pretty much won. Just to add insult to injury, I guess. Well, we're not going to break through that because he did go for the Evo Knight, which is pretty beefy. Now, we do have to be very careful about this. 2 Baby Dragons is pretty scary, I'm not going to lie. I do think we're going to be fine, though. There's pretty much no way this is going to take my tower. If anything, he's going to get a lot of damage here, but it's not going to be anything more than half the tower, and it's not even a third of the tower. So we're completely chilling. Definitely, that start helped us out a lot, because I feel like this is one of those matchups where, especially if it gets in triple elixir, I think is really challenging, because you do not have that many counters to the graveyard or the Baby Dragons. So if they're able to stack a couple Baby Dragons and then maybe get like a Little Prince coming in too, and then they like have the elixir to NATO poison the bats, it could actually be really scary. But you can manage it quite well in single elixir, which is what you saw. And now, okay, we found the game immediately. So yeah, 3-0. We're looking really, really solid thus far. Typically, the start I generally have at the start of Grand Challenges, assuming I don't get like a very good opponent early on, which typically is unlikely in the first few games, but of course there are exceptions. I will say though, every game has been quick, which is not often the case. Sometimes even the earlier games can, be like 4 or 5 minutes, but this deck just has quick games sometimes. So he is going to go for his Knight, and we see that he also has the Snowball and the Archer. So it's kind of making me think that he might be running Balloon Cycle, and if that is the case, this is a bit of a challenging matchup, I'm not gonna lie. So we're gonna have to really kind of like focus up here. The reason why it's hard is because we don't have many air counters, and one of our air counters he unfortunately has a snowball for the bats, of course. So we're gonna have to really try to figure out like what we want to do here. I'm actually gonna go Mega Knight in the back, and if he decides to, yeah, I was gonna say do something like that, we'll be ready with the bats as well as the Little Prince. And even though he did that, honestly, I'm not too concerned because this is gonna be a little, I think, troublesome for him to defend. So that was actually not a good knight. What you want to do is play the knight in the middle against the Mega Knight because you want both towers to be helping out against it. And luckily, we're going to get a ton of damage. So actually, just like that, because he ended up misclicking his knight, we capitalized off of that so hard. If I'm telling you guys, if he played that knight in the middle, he probably would have defended that without taking pretty much any damage, especially with the Evo archers, because one of the archers ended up targeting something else besides the knight, or excuse me, the bandit and the Mega Knight I had down. But had he ended up, yeah, having the knight in the middle, both the archers would have been close enough to hit the Mega Knight immediately, which would have been very, very important for him. So pretty glad he messed that up. Obviously not good for him, but very good for me. So those are going to heal each other up. Unfortunately, he is going to go for the arrows, though. And see, this is exactly what I'm talking about. When he has both the snowball as well as the arrows, that is really, really brutal. And this is exactly why this is kind of a tough matchup. And as you can see, we are unfortunately struggling. So we're hopefully going to have to... I'm hoping he makes another mistake of some sort, because if he plays this kind of well from this point on, I think we're going to have, like I said, a pretty challenging time. So let's just kind of see what happens. I guess we can go for the wall breakers. I actually would really like to get a miner and a zap here. I think that's really solid. We actually retarget the Little Prince on... That's a ton of damage. That's actually way more than I expected to get. I am going to go for a bar barrel here because I really want to get rid of that Little Prince. And then we're going to do bats. And he is going to go... Okay, we're going to Mega Knight on top of those. I think that's our best bet. I didn't want to go Bandit and have it dash. I don't know, because he could have protected them. I think Mega Knight just ensuring they get taken out was really important there. And this is going to force a bomb tower out of him, probably. Yeah, nice, which, of course, is an overcommitment. And just like that, things are looking pretty good for us, I would say. So, yeah, he is going to... let's just go for a Mega Knight here, I guess. And then, yeah, he might decide to go for a balloon. I guess we'll see. No, he decides to go bomb tower. Not that good of a bomb tower, in my opinion. Maybe that knight was like a... We could actually... I think, yeah, he kind of screwed up a bit. He thought I was going to go for the right because... Yeah, he had, Hold on, let me not lose focus here. He thought that I was going to go for the arena tower because I was so low, so he kind of overcommitted everything, did predictions to save the arena, but forgot about the king. And yeah, as a result, he kind of got 3 crown. So, I'll take it. That's a very difficult matchup, so I honestly don't mind that yeah, took a while. That was our longest game so far, and now we're third of the way through the challenge, so really good stuff. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that win, even though, you know, we are early on in the challenge. Like, that's definitely a hard matchup. I don't want to say, like, it's, like, a super hard counter. Like, obviously, it's not impossible to win because, you know, I just won, but if they make, like, any mistake, you can kind of capitalize off of that. So this guy is using the tombstone, so he might actually be using, I don't... Maybe he's running RG, I'm not really sure, because typically E-Giant doesn't have the Fisherman in the deck. I mean, I'm not saying there's no way it's, like, not E-Giant. It could be a different variation. But, yeah, this is pretty interesting for sure. He is going to go for... I just wanted to zap there. I'm kind of just would... Yeah, nice. Okay, so we do take that out. That's pretty solid. I can't complain with that. Yeah, that's not bad. I'll just go for a bar barrel here just to ensure that those archers don't get any damage. And I do, though, really think this is a matchup I have to win in single elixir, because if I don't know, I feel like this is one of those games where it's almost impossible to break through in double... Okay, that was a really bad RG. We might have actually won the game already because, yeah, you don't want to go RG that aggressively. We're definitely going to be able to punish him for that. Like, I'm positive. Like, there's no way he's going to be able to defend this. I will be really shocked if he does. Yeah, he literally had to fireball the Evo Bats, and he didn't even hit the Little Prince. So, that's already a good game, essentially. We won. Yeah, that's the thing, right? When you're playing against E-Giant, RG, Golem, anytime they overcommit in single elixir, you should be thinking, like, how can I counter push off of that? And notice how I didn't, like, go crazy and, like, over defend the RG. I didn't, like, spam all my stuff. I made calculated, you know, I calculated on defense properly. I didn't end up, like, just playing my bats immediately because I wanted them for the counter push. I didn't want them to go in front of the Mega Knight, if that makes sense. And he's got the Mother Witch too. This is actually a very, very bad matchup, but because of the start we had, we were able to win. We really took advantage of that. And this guy's a decent player as well. That's what's surprising, because I did see he had a Royal Tournament thing or badge, so he's a solid player as well. At the start, I saw that, so that makes this win even more satisfying. But yeah, you can see, like, even when you're against a good player, if they just slip up once, you can win because of it, especially with this deck. So that is GG against Beyond Tier, and I believe that's going to put us 5-0, which means we just have to win 7 more, and then 1 more win will put us at the halfway point, obviously, which is very nice. I start to become more confident when I get to the halfway point at 6 wins and I haven't lost a game yet. I start to feel like more and more that there's a very good chance that I'll win the challenge. He decided to go Sparky first play. That is a little bit concerning for sure. I'm going to go Little Prince, and I'm trying to think of the best way to defend this. I'm thinking the best bet is going... Alright, I messed up. I messed up because what I meant to do is go for the Wallbreaker split, because I wanted the Sparky to shoot 1 and not both, and obviously I messed that up. So that's a little bit unfortunate. Luckily, the Mega Knight did jump on the tower, and somehow, some way, even though the Sparky shot my tower, we're still somehow winning, which is pretty wild to think. So I just went for the wall breakers there, and he decided to go... You know what we're going to do? I was actually debating whether I wanted to allow that mini P.E.K.K.A to get a shot, but I think it's better not to, even though it was in the opposite lane. So I decided to just go for my bandit. I don't know why he went... I don't know why he did the Little Prince like that. I feel like that was definitely a mistake. And he had to go... Okay, so he went Gob Giant. That's pretty decent. Let's just Bar Barrel here, do that, and then I think we probably can defend that without having to even use the ability. Oh, that poison was a really big overcommitment, because he just played the Goblin Giant a little while ago, and then he also had the bats down. So Gob Giant, bats, poison, that's a ton of elixir, so that's a good indicator that you can go in for the wall breakers, which is exactly what I did. I'm even going to go... Okay, so he just decided to go Sparky. He might decide to ignore that bandit. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, and he does in fact do that. So the challenge is going to be defending this Sparky. We'll see if we are able to do that. That mini P.E.K.K.A is going to be really obnoxious as well. So, you know, we'll see what we can do here. Definitely no guarantee we're going to be able to defend this. But having the zap does help. You know, I will say that helps quite a ton, having a, you know, viable reset to that Sparky. And I'm just going to go ahead and Mega Knight in the back again. We really do need to defend here. I don't want this going into a 2-tower game, because I'm not sure how I'll feel about it going into a 2-tower game. We could still win, but I really just want to wrap it up here. But I feel like this isn't so hard to defend. Typically, when I'm running Gob Giant Sparky, I like to go opposite lane of people running Mega Knight. So when people just play everything in the same lane, as you could tell, it's really not that hard to defend. What makes it stressful is when you have Sparky in one lane and then maybe you drop a Knight in front of it or something like that, especially if it's the Evolved Knight, or maybe you get like a mini P.E.K.K.A in front of it, whatever the case is, and then in the opposite lane you got the Gob Giant coming in with something. So this guy, anyway, we're halfway through now. This guy Does have a top 1,000 ladder finish. So pretty good player over here. And we're just going to go bats to start things off. And then we'll also go for a bar barrel as well. And he's going to go for the skeletons. So skeletons and log. We don't really know yet what this is. We see a knight, so it's absolutely going to be a cycle deck at some sort, and typically when you see a log, you know it's not going to be an air deck, so even though I just cycled my Little Prince and Bats, I don't have to worry about him going for like a balloon or something in the opposite lane, because that just majority of the time it's not something you're going to see. So this is pretty decent. I mean, he had to spend quite a lot over there. I'm actually going to use my ability. It's a little aggressive, but I think it's just going to make things a little annoying for him. Just because, yeah, I mean, yeah, he does have to go for the knight. So I guess that works. And he might be running, I guess he's probably just running Expo at this point, because we do see that he does have, I'm actually going to do this. I just want to get rid of that Tesla. And that's going to also add a little bit of counter push. Because typically when they don't have their Tesla, they can't really go in for an Expo. It's really difficult for them to do so. So by getting rid of that Expo, you're kind of... It's pretty good typically. I'm going to do this. It might seem crazy, but he doesn't have a lot for the bats. Like, he literally doesn't have anything for them. Besides the Ice Spirit. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, he only has the Little Prince and the Ice Spirit for the bats, or he has to Fireball, which is a massive overcommitment, so I knew that, which is why I did that push there. That's the thing with this deck, like, if they cycle literally just, like, one thing, it might seem, like, so insignificant, someone cycling their, like, whatchamacallit, you know, their... like Ice Spirit, you know, it's just like, it's a 1 elixir card, like, why does it matter? And I feel like that's what separates players, like some players who are kind of casuals or like semi-pros, from the players that are like pros in this game. And I'm not even like top 10. I've never made it to like a world final or anything like that. But like, that's just like from like, that's really like pros, right? That's something they're very good at picking up on. It's like, even if someone cycled something like Skeletons or Ice Spirit, how can I take advantage of that? You know what I mean? Like, is there a way to take advantage of that? And as you can see, in some cases, there is. The bats really screwed him over. Now, he probably could have, and if it was someone who played their defense a little better, he probably would have had a chance of defending, right? He probably would have, but it put him in an uncomfortable position, and putting people in uncomfortable positions is where they're most likely to make mistakes. So that's a really good thing to remember. He's going to go for the cannon. So we're just going to go bats here. And then I think we're just going to miner the tower. He's got the Fire Spirit. So he might be running Royal Hogs. And sure enough, that is what he's using. So what I'm actually going to do is, this is going to be a pretty hefty elixir commitment here, but I'm going to do it anyway, because this is going to give us a really big counter push. Obviously, he could defend this, but let's just say it's not going to be that easy. You know what I mean? It's not... Well, I should have maybe zapped the Little Prince. That was probably... Not zapping that was probably a bit of a mistake. I'm not going to lie. It's okay, but, yeah. I kind of wished I went for zap on that. Okay, he did go cannon. Let's just zap that. I think that's okay. Alright. So, we know what he's using. He's definitely able to defend. It's just a matter of, in double and triple, how good his defense is, because he most definitely can win this game. I'm going to go for a miner here. This is a little annoying for him. He might even... Yeah, he does go for the delivery. That's what I was thinking. So let's get our own Little Prince down here and see if he decides to go Royal Hogs. He's actually going to play them in the other lane. So let's go for a Mega Knight. And if he is... Yep, he is going to use the ability. So let's just try to be a little careful here what we do. Oh, wait, we both kind of screwed up. So I messed up my defense on... Oh my gosh! Wow, okay, we both messed up. I screwed up so badly on my defense against the Little Prince. Or excuse me, the guardian of the Little Prince. But then he completely just done goofed on his end. So we both screwed up. I got the better end of it. You could maybe say I got a little lucky. Okay, let's make sure those don't multiply. Because at this point, right, like, even though that's an overcommitment, I just spent 4 elixir on 1 elixir Evo Skellies. That's a situation where it's worth it. Because we're in double elixir, and I'm in a place where I'm in a very comfortable position right now, where I pretty much can only lose if I make, you know, a massive mistake. So I just don't want to allow him to take my tower, like, at all costs. Like, I don't want to take any chances because it'll give him an opportunity to come back. And as you can see, that, you know, worked out pretty nicely. Luckily, I didn't miss any of the skellies. That would have been quite a disaster, and that's where things could have gotten very close, but we're completely fine now. All right, 2/3 of the way through, 8-0. Let's try to close it out here. See if we could potentially go undefeated. Okay, this guy's got a top 700 Royal Tournament finish, so pretty good player over here. We'll just split the wall breakers to start the game off, and he's going to go Mega Minion. Probably means it's going to be Lava, which is definitely, I would say, a tricky matchup, but of course we can win. We just need to play well, and actually it might not even be Lava. There's a chance it could be potentially, like, I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see. I mean, Mega Minion usually makes me think Lava, but I guess, like, we can't say for certain. We just went Zap. Okay, I'm going to try to take advantage of that, going with the bats here. We're going to go Miner, and then we're going to Zap this. That died, but we didn't get too much out of that. Oh, we got a Mega Knight jump. I'll take it. But if that Little Prince locked on the Mega Knight instead of the bats, that could have been really, really scary for him to defend. But either way, like I said, that's still a solid Mega Knight jump. I don't know. We don't have a massive lead, though. Let's just, I guess, go Wall Breakers. He's going to Mega Minion, so if he decides here to go... Okay, yeah. I know exactly what he's using now. He's using the Pompeo deck. That's kind of the best person. He's very good with the deck. That's why it's called the Pompeo deck. Oftentimes the best player with the deck, that's kind of the... I just made a massive mistake there. If the bats... If those stayed in front, I would have literally... that would have been so much more threatening, so I kind of screwed up there. I'm going to go Bandit to pressure just because I want him to defend, so I can cycle back to my Little Prince, because I need my Little Prince at all times for his balloon. But yeah, this is a... I don't know. I feel like this is a pretty tricky matchup. We'll have to see what we can do here, I guess. We can win, of course. I just think it's... it's not easy. It's not easy for sure. He's going to go for his Little Prince. I might go for my own, although, I don't know. I really need to make sure I got counters for the balloon. Otherwise, we're kind of in a bit of trouble, not going to lie. I'm going to use my ability. Okay, he used his. Luckily, though, I'm going to actually use the Evo Bats. I might as well. And let's get a Bar Barrel going here. Alright, I'm a little surprised he hasn't gone for a balloon yet. There it is. Right on time, right when I say that. Ooh, that did lock on, which is really good. Okay, we actually defended that, surprisingly. I did defend that. This is not going well at all, though. I don't know how we're going to win this match. It's going to be tricky. We get a double wall breaker connection, though. I mean, that's really solid. I didn't expect that to happen, not going to lie. Let's try to pressure a bit here. I feel like we definitely really got to keep up the pressure. Just because in this type of matchup, we just don't have a lot of air defense. So we got to, like, just pile it on as much as we can. Did he not have a... I don't know what happened there. Maybe he didn't have a Zappin cycle. I would have assumed he would have, though. So that was... very surprising, to say the least. I'm just going to go Mega Knight here, and then... Ooh, this could actually be very interesting. Okay. Oh, I just lost, I think. I could be wrong. Yep, we lost, sadly. We got, like, no counter to the balloon. Yikes. Yikes, 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 yikes. Alright, here we go. Alright, here we go. This guy's got a Grand Challenge badge, so he definitely knows how to play as well. Let's just go split wall breakers here to start things off, and he's going to go for the archers, okay. We'll go bandit then. He could be using potentially like, well, could be pretty much anything in the game. So, he's got the knight. I'm going to go for my mega knight. It could be E-Giant, could be balloon, quite a few things it could be actually. Yeah, I don't know what it is yet. But it's probably a heavier deck. I don't think it's like a cycle deck. Let's see. He goes arrows, okay. Still am not entirely sure what this is. This could potentially be... Ooh, that was weird that he decided to do that. He probably didn't expect me to have a bar barrel, that's for sure. That probably caught him off guard. Let's go for the Mega Knight again on top of the Knight. Guess I might as well. Yeah, I don't know why he did that. I guess, yeah, he really didn't expect me to have anything for it, which is fair enough, I suppose, but still a little surprising. He's definitely going to pop the ability. I'm glad I waited to use my, I want to get a nice little zap here if I can. There we go. There we go. That's big time damage. Woo! That's what we needed. Let's go. Good stuff over there. I don't know what his win condition is. He definitely, like, he's got to have something, right? I mean, maybe he does have the balloon. It would be a weird balloon deck, though, if he did have it. That's, could have... Okay, that could have been worse. Let's put it that way. Like, I mean, that could have been worse. Because I'm still winning. You know what I mean? But that was a lot of damage we just gave up. I'm not going to deny that. I'm going to Little Prince here. Nice, we do get to lock on the mortar, even though he did end up going for that knight. So that's, of course, really solid stuff over there for us. Now, the only issue is I don't have anything for the minion horde. We're going to kite that back. Yeah. Problematic for sure. I'm not going to lie, this matchup is actually really bad. So the fact that we... like had a nice start is amazing, because that's not an easy matchup. I can like say that for a fact, because I don't know, that minion horde is just obnoxious. If I was using arrows instead of zap, it would have definitely been not as bad. But yeah, that was kind of challenging. Either way, we got the win, so let's go. Alright, there we go, we found it. Alright, this guy's also got a top 1,000 Royal Tournament finish. We're actually facing like a lot of... Recently, I've been facing like a lot of good players inside of Grand Challenges, so they're definitely... They seem to be pretty competitive right now, I don't know. There's a lot of people playing them. I guess I'll just go for a bar barrel here. So we actually are against 2 Goblin gangs in a row, which is pretty surprising considering there's not a whole lot of people running Gob gang in this meta. So we'll see if this guy's running Mortar as well. I'll be curious to see. No, he's using Sparky. I'll probably just get a zap on top of that. Maybe I'll go Miner and zap on it. That could be decent depending on what he has. Yeah, that actually is really decent. And then he went Rage, which is... didn't feel like that was the best play on his end, but it ended up not really costing him, to be fair. He's chilling. So yeah, kind of a interesting start. So we know it's Sparky. The question is, like, does he have Minion Horde? Like, what's his, he's got Barbs. Wow, that's... I mean, honestly, like... I'm kind of tempted to just Mega Knight here, because I don't know how he's supposed to... Like, if he goes Sparky, we can probably just play into it. You know, we can go... I'm going to actually go Little Prince here. He decides to... That's... Yeah, I mean, that's going to be a lot of damage. Nice, I got the ability off. That's pretty clutch. I mean, he went Gob Gang, but he got it down late, so as a result, look at all that damage we got. Amazing start, actually. I was a little bit, I don't know, after I saw his deck, I was a little bit kind of, like, intimidated, but yeah, because I don't know how easy this, I don't know, maybe it's not that bad of a matchup. Wow, he went for a Fireball in that? That's pretty crazy. I'm definitely going to Miner. If we just get, like, a little bit more damage, we're pretty much at the point where, you know, I'm fairly confident we're going to win. I feel like, doesn't this guy have a pump? Because, I don't know, like, usually this deck has the Elixir Collector, but maybe he doesn't for whatever reason. That's actually kind of a somewhat smart play, him doing that, because my cycle's a little whack for defending, like, because my Little Prince was out of hand and the Mega Knight, so it was actually a really good play, but luckily I was able to defend that. And then I'm just going to go Miner here, because that Fireball was a little bit, like, just kind of, I don't know. Like, he needed to do it out of, like, desperation, essentially, and then that put him at a massive Elixir deficit. And, yeah, that is going to be GG. Really nice win. I don't think that's, like, a super easy matchup or anything, so I'm glad that we had that start and outcycled him. And, I don't know, if he had Pump, he just decided not to use it for whatever reason. I'm not complaining because I don't even really have any counter to the Pump. And this guy's got a top 500 Royal Tournament finish. So this is what I'm saying. Like, everyone we're playing against has, you know, a solid achievement. So we're just going to split bats in the back, and then we'll go for a Miner. Even though he went Goblins, it's still going to be something he, I think, has to address because of the bats. And yeah, sure enough, he does go for the delivery. So he's going to be running Miner Control, probably with the Bomb Tower, and there's the Little Prince. So I'm just going to go Wall Breakers just to kind of see if he's going to... Okay, so he decides to go Log, which is the right play. If he decided a Bomb Tower there, that would have been a really big overcommitment, and we could have actually even won off of that. So he's definitely smart to not do that and overcommit. I just want Bats to take that. Oh, that poison isn't going to kill the Little Prince, I don't think. Now, I don't know if... Oh, wow. Hold on. He kind of messed up, not gonna lie. Wait. Yeah, he kind of messed up. Like, low-key. I think we could even go Wall Breakers here because I don't know if he can afford anything for them. Little Prince, but... Oof, yeah, wow. That's really good. And then I can even do this, and then go for this, and he's going to have to delivery, which means... Oh, wow, he missed the delivery, too. Yeah, this guy's really tilted. So even though this guy's really good, yeah, you can see, like, anyone can get tilted. Maybe he's at 2 losses or something, I don't know, or... I don't know. Everyone makes mistakes, but, yeah, we really capitalized off of them, so I'm glad we, you know, punished him very well. Like, took advantage of the mistakes he made, missing the delivery on the Little Prince, and then we just kind of punished him like crazy. So yeah, you can tell he's just getting really desperate for damage at this point because he sent in the Miner. I'm just going to ignore that whole thing, and then Little Prince, you know, with my healthy tower. And he might try to go opposite lane with the Evo Knight at the bridge. I wouldn't be surprised. No, he actually sets up defense, so he's still confident that he can defend, I guess. So I'm just going to Bar Barrel here. And yeah, let's see. I'm just going to Miner. He actually didn't catch it. I thought he did, but he played the Goblins late, so we end up getting some really solid chip damage over there. We're going to Bar Barrel, and then we're going to go for a... Alright, sweet. That's pretty decent. Let's go Little Prince in the back, and then see what he wants to do. He's going to ignore the Bandit, which actually is a good play, in my opinion, especially because he's hardly taking any damage. And alright. He's actually playing pretty well now. We're going to have to focus up, make sure we don't, like, throw this game or anything, because he's, actually, he's got his act together, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think I kind of started to, underestimate him a little after that start, but now he's playing like he knows what he's doing. Although he might have... he does have to watch out, you know? Like, he does have to still pay attention to the right lane, because we did just get a lot of damage there. Guardian coming in does unfortunately get stopped. Alright, let's see. He poisoned that. Okay, so he's definitely still desperate for damage, you can tell, because he literally just went poison and log, which is a lot. That's a pretty big commitment. I did just give him, like, way too valuable of a delivery, though. But look at that, the miner's getting chip damage, so we're definitely kind of chilling right now. We just need, like, a little bit more damage, and then we're in the clear here. And he does catch the miner, but we're still going to get damage from the zap, which is nice. And then we can just cycle back to another miner. We're always switching up the placement. Even though the goblins are amazing at catching it, you still have to, you know, obviously, you're not going to be able to catch it every single time. Let's just do it again. Switch up the placement every single time. And this time around, he does not catch the miner, which means that is going to be GG. And it's going to put us at 11-1, which, for me at least, is a very comfortable position. Obviously, that doesn't guarantee me the Grand Challenge win. I will say, though, oh, this guy's got a 303 Royal Tournament finish. So, yeah, we're like, every single person we're facing is, you know, pretty decent. Like, pretty good, honestly. Anyway, so he's got Little Prince. I'm just going to go Bats, and this could be, like, low-key, just kind of the exact same matchup, potentially, the other guy had, because we see Little Prince and Goblins. But because we do see the Mini P.E.K.K.A, it's looking probably more and more that it's going to be most likely Sparky, so that'll be fun, I guess. We don't have anything for the pump. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this just because I really want to... get rid of that. That was not bad. Like, low-key, that wasn't bad. We got rid of the pump. He might go in with a Gob Giant here. Oh, he just goes ability. That's fine. Barb Barrel should clean that all up. Oh, wow. That's very good for me. One ability there. Nice, yeah. Always keep up the pressure when they have pump, because you don't have good answers to the pump. We're gonna go Wall Breakers here. And that was not the best timing. Let's just go Bar Barrel. That should be, like, decent enough, I guess. Low-key, let's do this. He might not expect it to be... Oh, nice. Yeah, he didn't. We need the Evo Bats. I don't know if he can defend this. I think, if he defends this, I don't know what to say. No way, no way. No way, right? Surely. Surely not. Surely not. No hands, right? There we go. We got it. I knew it. I was confident I was going to take it. Let's go. That was a stressful game, I'm not going to lie. 12-1. I'll take it. Forget what L we had. I think it was pretty challenging. Oh, yeah. We lost to Loon, the Pompeo deck. Definitely not an easy matchup. Closed out the challenge. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Give this Mega Knight deck a try. Pretty solid, I would say.